Israel is under increasing pressure from allies over its plans for Gaza. That's our fourth story. After more than 19 months of brutal war, the patience of some of Israel's Western allies appears to be running out. In Brussels yesterday, the European Union announced it would begin a formal review of its trade accord with Israel. Meanwhile, Britain suspended its trade talks. Yesterday in Parliament, Britain's Foreign Minister David Lammy responded to comments from far-right Israeli Minister Bezalel Smotrich. Smotrich has said that Gaza will be destroyed and depopulated.
We must call this what it is. It is extremism. It is dangerous. It is repellent. It is monstrous, and I condemn it in the strongest possible terms.
On Monday, the leaders of Britain, France, and Canada threatened further action against Israel if conditions in Gaza do not improve. Their joint statement said that the level of human suffering in Gaza is intolerable. Israel's renewed military offensive and blockade of food into the enclave has put more than 2 million people at critical risk of famine.
Okay, shalom, shalom, shalom. Kwam Yasha Allah, Ko Elohim La Yahweh, Bahashim Yahushai, Bahashim Rahakadash. Double honors to our apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well, and that by the Spirit taught us His beautiful truth. And just want to say the water to all the Akim and Akwaf that's out here sincerely keeping the laws, the statutes, and commandments of Yahweh Bahashim Yahushai to the best of their ability. This is Achanan the Wap, just coming at you with another quick lesson, praying that it's edifying by the Spirit. And I'm driving right now, so I'll be roughly paraphrasing scriptures. I'm out here with these doofies, these goddamn Edomites, man. Just people just silly as hell, man. But anyway, as you can hear, and it's been ongoing, people have really been pulling back from the support of Israel. Israel, man, was pristine. You talking about somebody with the most, which we know they're wicked as hell, but somebody with the most cleanest track record, the cleanest record per se as far as the world, with people saying, "Oh, those are the righteous people." There was no stain that you could drop on them, even though they was doing all kinds of shit. They was able to get away with a lot of shit. But this Gaza thing, this Palestinian thing, has really stained them. And actually, at one point, they were spending a lot more money on campaigns, like as far as advertisements, to basically, up their image. They had them PR people out there, man. They spent a lot of money on that. I think they spent maybe about 300 million or so, hitting a lot of different news networks. And you remember you started to see all those commercials as far as like the NFL. And they was, they had, the little blue box and, this anti-Sim this, anti-Sim that. We're all one people. You guys should really support us, getting behind us. We have a right to our sovereignty. We have a right to protect ourselves. But you can clearly see that it's beyond that, especially, especially if you watch the news. And I watch a lot of Euro News or whatever, you know what I'm saying? And actually, that's an app that's in the app store. Well, not app store, but it's in the Apple News app, so to speak. And you can click onto it, but you'll see a lot of those stories. But I mean, just watching it on TV, it's a lot of graphic shit, man. It's a lot of, people with missing limbs. They, when they'll have that little thing that goes across the screen telling you that it's, graphic content. And it gets graphic. It gets real nasty, man. In some of those areas, because people do really be having limbs gone, arms gone, damn legs gone. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes they'll blur it out. But the thing of it is they're showing those children. That's where it's really being heartfelt. When people see children, when they see women, and they're, in that particular situation, it hits them to the core of the heart. And so that's what's been going on with Israel. It's been a lot of really gory images of women and children being fucked up over there. Men too, because of course this is a world where men don't even matter. But Israel is gonna, the scriptures talks about how the least of the flock would draw them out. And a lot of these countries, they're really trying to get away from Israel, even though they're wicked as hell too. They're not no more righteous. These Britain, come on, bro, all these different places that have had the children of Israel in captivity for all these hundreds of years, they're brutal, man. All these Edomites are brutal. It just so happened that Amalek, those Edomites that's over there in Israel, they're a lot more brutal. I think they're probably the top brutal ones, of all the tribes of those Edomites, man. And that's their biblical name. Their biblical name is Esau, Edom. They're not white people. They don't look like a glass of milk. You know what I'm saying? They actually look like brake lights on a damn car, a lot of them. But they've given you this social construct about them being white and being pure and being righteous when we can clearly see that they're wicked as hell. And that Talmud that they be running with, man, that shit, you run through that. There's some wicked things in that book. And they don't really actually follow the scriptures. They don't follow the Bible. They just use the Bible as a front. And a lot of people don't, a lot of these countries, they don't even recognize Israel as being a sovereign country. I think it's maybe like 100 or so countries that's like, nope, we know that you're not who you're saying you are. And it's just wearing on them. It really is. It's wearing them down. It's not, they're not getting what that feedback that they used to get. Because you used to have these, a lot of these Americans, because, they're Christians and they really believe that those people are the real Jews, and they feel like they have to give up money and offerings and, these churches over here, they rattling your damn pockets every damn Sunday talking about, so let's free or save Israel. They're the, it's prophecy. Yeah, it's prophecy that the wicked would be there because they're not the real children of Israel. You so-called blacks, Hispanics, Native Americans, you are the children of Israel. You are the Lord's chosen people. And the scriptures also says that, a bastard would dwell there. Look at all the wickedness that goes on in that place. There's nowhere in the Bible where it talks about a state of Israel, a damn prime minister and a president. You know what I'm saying? None of it, they don't fit any of the prophecies. Other than, these nations are going to come up against them, which is what we're witnessing. These people, see, they understand that the world is changing. Images, everything, that social media and, online, that shit is really rattling a lot of these countries, you know what I'm saying? Because that's the reason why they're trying to shut down a lot of that stuff, man. They're trying to shut down talks of, anything coming up against them negatively. So look at Trump right now. Trump coming up, he going hard too. He's coming up against anybody that has said anything negative about him. There ain't no freedom of speech. You can cut that shit out. All that shit is about out of here. So they're arresting people. And eventually, that famine of the word is going to come. And Israel have laws. They've set up bills and laws and shit to overly protect these people over the American citizens. You have laws on the books that if somebody fuck with you, call 911. But with them, they get extra protection. They get extra protection over you Americans, which you ought to find that to be weird, But and a lot of these Edomites here, they're actually seeing that to be fucked up, and that's where you get a lot of these white supremacists and white nationalists and people like that. You know what I'm saying? They don't like shit like that in what they consider to be their country that they stole, actually, because all these Edomites, everywhere that they are stolen. None of these places are their original habitat, man. You know what I'm saying? If they're supposed to be in Mount Seir, the landmass that the Lord gave them, but they're all over the country. All over the globe, moving the landmarks. You're not supposed to move the landmarks. And if these people were so righteous, they would know that. But they're not the righteous. They're the wicked. You know what I'm saying? So again, Trump and them is talking all this peace talk shit. You know what I'm saying? Matter of fact, in the beginning of the, because this is the Washington Post, they got what they call the 7. So they'll give you the 7 top news stories or whatever. I think the very first one, I didn't, I listen to it all. You know what I'm saying? I generally check this out every other morning. Not every morning, but Trump's talking about this golden dome. He wants a golden dome like how Israel has an iron dome. For this military might. And what they mentioned was how it would cost like $500 billion, a little over $500 billion, I think about $600 billion, and it would take like 20 years to actually build in case some missiles and whoever, trying to attack America, they can hold down America. But motherfucker, you don't have no 20 years. We pray that you don't. That's for damn sure. 20 years, as wicked as you are, but that shows you their pride too. Because you'll never hear them saying, well, Lord willing, in 20 years, this project will be done. You'll never hear them saying, Lord willing, on nothing. You'll hear them say some bullshit, God bless America. But what God are they talking about? Obviously, it's Satan. They don't really follow the Bible, because if they follow the Bible, they would know that America is going to be destroyed. You don't have no damn 20 years, and no golden dome is going to hold your ass from these prophecies. These prophecies are going to come to pass regardless. This place is going to be torched. It's going to be smoked, and Israel is going to be the one that's going to pull them into that shit. It just is what it is, man. And we're praying that it happens soon. They're already talking about this microchipping shit. They about ready to microchip y'all asses, man, like your cattle. And I've seen a few movies. I seen a movie last night. I think it's called Equals. The Equal. With the carpet munching chick. In real life, she was one of those carpet munchers. But I was kind of surprised that she was doing some of the scenes she was doing with this guy in the movie. But overall, they were scanning themselves into work every day. You know what I'm saying? And then it got to a point where, when she got to the scanner, I don't mean to give away the movie in case you want to see it, but she got to the scanner. Basically, what was going on in the movie was, they call it SOS. I think it was called something to the, basically, if you had feelings, like if you was just like a regular person, you had a disease. Overall, like, if you just had feelings, it was people that was committing suicide, jumping off buildings, and, people would just stand there and look at them and just go back to work, like with no feelings whatsoever. But, it was a few people that was hiders, so to speak, and they had feelings, you know what I'm saying? Like, that was considered to be a disease. And so as they're scanning in, everybody had to scan. You had to scan to get into the elevator, scan your damn wrist or arm or hand to get into the, wherever you was going, your apartment. Everything was like that. I noticed too also that they didn't have it wasn't no phones or cell phones or no company phones. It wasn't nothing like that in the movie at all. There was no communication like that. It was just people that they was getting up. They were just doing their work every day, and they were going back to their apartments, and they was doing that shit just routinely over and over and over again. But the main scene that I want to focus on here is, there was a scene where they came up with a cure, where it was basically like a chip in your damn neck or something. Where, of course you're not going to have no feelings no more once they implement the shit. But this guy and this girl, they ended up, by having feelings, of course, they fell in love. He ended up getting her pregnant. And as she was trying to scan through the scanner to get to her little job station, you know what I'm saying? Her chip scanner, her scanner wouldn't go off, like it make a sound, a little beep or whatever. And then, some officers or whatever came up, and they thought that she had what they call this disease, a feeling, so to speak. They had a stage 1, stage 2, and stage 3. And I watched this on Tubi too. It was a good ass movie though. I'm not gonna front, So if you want to watch it, it's called Equals or something to that. I think it's just Equal. But they turned her around. They basically like, when you can't, you got to go basically to your doctor. And they, they get there and they check. It's like these little digital hookups. All they have to do is just poke that shit basically into your arm, and they know everything about you right off the jump. They know exactly what's going on with you. And come to find out, she was pregnant. And they threw her ass in what they called a den. And they was about to knock her ass off. But, she ended up getting away. But anyway, it was all on some chipping shit. Overall, them having total control over the people, which they did. And so this couple was, they was getting ready to try and escape and go somewhere. But anyway, that was overall the movie. But this is happening already. They're already desensitizing the people. People are already without feeling shit, type of deal. But the last of the prophecies that has to happen is that microchip, and it's World War III. And they already are implementing those things, man. Don't think that they trumping them in the backdrop doing their thing. Elon Musk done already done his part, but he's the one with the Neuralink. I guess next stage is probably already in play. But that World War III is going to happen, that third woe. And there's nothing that Esau can do to get around it. And there's nothing that Esau can do to stop America from being destroyed. All that make America great again shit, a damn golden dome, they can forget about it. Because Israel going to draw them into it. See, those Israelis, they pissed about these little decisions of these leaders, these world leaders standing up and saying, no, enough is enough. But see, they don't understand the stretch and reach of Israel's arm, man. You know what I'm saying? These are some very wicked people, man. And they have the power to knock your ass off no matter where you are. And you'll probably see some of these motherfuckers come up dead or you know, you'll probably kidnap a damn family, their damn daughters or their wife or whatever, and whatever, you know, and make them do what they want them to do. Because they're not going to stop. And actually, they're not going to stop because it's just prophetic. They're the ones, man. They're going to be the ones that's going to draw up everybody to come into that third world's woe, man. So I just, you know, I was listening to that. But it's a real bad stain on Israel right now. And now it's at a point where, you know, when they get back down, they get to playing victim, when they're actually the villain, that's when you know that they're just going to be like, fuck it, and come with some real hardcore draconian shit. And you know Trump, he's been making some moves too that haven't been, you know, overall basically pissing Bibi Netanyahu off. He's been making some moves, you know, that, you know, dealing with Iran, going over there to Saudi Arabia and Syria, and, you know, doing all that little Middle East tour that he just had. He's doing shit that those Israelis are not expecting him to do. So who knows what might happen to his ass. He might fuck around and catch the business, you know. But, yeah, man, Israel is going to draw them into that shit. There's no way around it. It's prophetic. It's scriptural, you know. And Trump, again, with that peace shit, you know. Peace talks here. Peace talks with Russia and Ukraine. Peace talks with Israel. And, man, fuck out of here. Peace talk, that peace. Nah, man. Shit not going to work. It's not going to work. It's time for America and the rest of these Edomites. It's just these Edomites need to go anyway. But this place is fucked all up, man. So I'm going to end out there. Laughing at this damn Jake, boy. He big as hell. His damn stomach on the steering wheel. He's stuffing a donut clean in his mouth. Whole donut. Slocky. Anyway, man, this place is done. I pray that the lesson was edifying. With that, Kwame Yashala and a Bible ball.